What is up, guys? It is MewMonster58 and welcome back to the channel and welcome to my new Let's Play of Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered. Now, when it comes to Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, this game means a lot to me. It's, I played a ton of this game. I played a ton of it when I was a kid, and I feel that getting back into content creation, this game really will help me to bring some awesome content to you guys and bring you my love and passion for the automobile in one Let's Play. So I'm really excited to bring this to you guys, especially as really the first major automotive game, racing game that I'm going to be doing. Obviously, with cars being my passion, this also doesn't just mean a lot for the fact that I love the game, but for the fact that I love cars so much. So without further ado, let's get started.
Seacrest County has become the ultimate place to speed. A playground for the most exotic cars and drivers in the world. But this is not a lawless place. Constant competition has led to the creation of the world's fastest police force, Seacrest County Speed Enforcement. The SCPD spare no expense to redline it all the way and make you pay. Every day, new drivers still show up and attempt to tame Seacrest County and outrun the law. The pursuit for the ultimate drive starts here. Which side are you on?
And so, without further ado, let us dive into the career. Now, the very cool and interesting thing about this game is when it comes to Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, you can play as both a racer and a cop, which is something that we haven't been able to do, I think, for a very long time, even up until now with the release of Need for Speed Heat, the release of Need for Speed Unbound as well, and even the previous games that came after this, I believe. I think only it was Rivals that might have done it. I don't think Payback did it at all, and 2015 definitely didn't do it, and especially a Need for Speed Most Wanted, the remake, didn't end up doing that either. So really exciting stuff to be able to play, all these years ago. 2010, I believe, was this game's release, being able to play as both a cop and a racer. So, as sort of Need for Speed fashion, let's start off with the racer career mode.
Entry in the Roadsters Reborn race event is confirmed. In this showcase event, you will unleash the true potential of the Roadster as you compete against other drivers in a race along the Seacrest County coast. Use your driving skills to outmaneuver the opposition and take a medal. Your reputation is measured in wanted levels. Currently, you are not registering much activity and are classed by the SCPD as a Level 1 speeder. The greatest drivers win the races and outrun the law with style, and are classified as Level 20, Most Wanted. Your daily activity is measured as bounty. The harder, faster, and more dangerously you drive, the more bounty you will earn. Win races, beat your rivals, and stay one step ahead of the cops to increase your wanted level and get access to new cars and entry into the toughest events. Your car is equipped with a race-spec nitro system. Use this system to gain a rapid acceleration increase. Nitros will only charge if you drive dangerously. Drive in oncoming traffic lanes, near-miss other vehicles, drift corners, and take shortcuts to gain the most nitros. This race has restricted entry requirements. You can choose any of the available cars to drive in the race. Some cars are locked at this time and will become available as you increase your wanted level.
So she kind of explained everything that I was thinking of explaining, but for the most part, you guys get the idea. When it comes to the racer career, basically, you're a low-level wanted racer, and then when it comes to it, you do more and more races, and then you unlock more and more cars as you level up your wanted level, and then when you get to the max level, that's when you've basically unlocked all the cars. You've unlocked, the toughest cops, but obviously, as you increase your level, the severity and the toughness of how the cops act towards you is going to also increase. So one thing I would like to do for all of the cars that are going to be available is do this. So as you can see, you do have all this bounty of 60, 30, 60, and then there's some cars that are just not available. 5,000 bounty, 10,000, 15, 120. You guys get the idea. So without further ado, the one thing that I'd like to do for each of the cars in this game is allow the game to talk about the cars and the description of them, because I think it's pretty cool to listen to. So, here we go.
Porsche engineers have realized a long-held dream. The dream of a roadster that is more original, more sporty, and more liberated than ever. By taking an idea back to the basics, the Boxster Spider is based on a pure, lightweight design with no comfortable extras. Featuring a tuned version of the proven 3.4-liter flat-six Boxster engine, which sits just ahead of the rear axle, the Boxster Spider weighs only 1,275 kilograms. There is a noticeable kick in acceleration when compared to the other two models in the range, and the car is always alert and willing to change direction. No air conditioning, no radio, no cup holders, no door release levers. This is the lightest Porsche you can buy, and one that returns to the formula applied in creating the classic 1950s Porsche 550 Spider.
So one of the things I'd like to talk about is basically when it comes to this game, obviously being the remastered version, they did make some changes to this game, and one of the things that they ended up doing is basically allowing you to make all of the paint colors that you want. So you can actually make wraps like in the many modern Need for Speed games and stuff like that. In addition to that, you can just choose your own custom paint color. So like if you wanted to just go here, you could go and go to the end here and you could just do a whole new custom paint job. Go here, you can make, vinyls and stuff like that, and then going here you have like preset like stripes, and these apply like vinyl designs, and these apply to every single car in the entire game. So some really interesting stuff, nothing too huge, but definitely some graphical improvements that you'll see in this game compared to the last one, maybe some sound as well. But again, I'm really excited they remastered this game, and so without further ado, let's get started. Porsche Boxster Spider, let's go. So as you can see, one thing I'd like to point out on the load screen, you can see the bounty rewards. So by getting first, it's 6,000. By getting second, it's 4,000. By getting third, it's 2,000. So you really want to get the highest amount of bounty. And then obviously for me, what I'm going to be doing in this Let's Play is going to be golding every single event. No matter what it is, I'm going to be golding every single event. And this will apply to like certain events. Sometimes it's the the short length of time it takes you to get from one location to the other. But we'll explore those events as we come as we get to them. Excuse me. So. Alright, and we are off. So one thing I'd like to point out with this game that I'll get out of the way right now is that I might end up keeping the music on a low, if not completely, like, off-setting. And that's just because there's a lot of copyrighted music in this game, and unfortunately, obviously, YouTube will not like that. So just to let you guys know that I will most likely be keeping the music to a low. But at that point, what's the cool thing is that you can hear the cars better than anything else, so that's really exciting. And in fact, I'll probably go and do that right now, so we'll be back in a second. Now, the reason I ended up loving this game, and I know that there's mixed opinions on this game, but for me, what I really loved about this game was just, it was back to basics. This is what Need for Speed Hot Pursuit was. This is what Need for Speed grew up on. This was its, like, grassroots, right? What I loved about this game was just, like, I grew up on the original Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, and I had it for the GameCube, and I actually still have it. It's just a few feet away from me, actually. But what was nice about that game was that it was just, you race some really fast cars, the cops try and stop you, they send roadblocks, spike strips, all this stuff, and this sort of takes it to that level. Now, I guess the major complaint too with this game is the brake drifting, And yes, I can totally understand that as they have improved this over the years with Unbound and Payback and all all the games that were preceding this game that preceded excuse me preceded this game. But what's really cool is, like, I don't know, it's an arcade racer, so I don't really mind the brake drifting and stuff like that. The game still sounds great. The graphical improvements make this game still look great for the remastered version. Even the regular version still looks really good. And overall, I'm really happy. So when it comes to the Boxster, this is one car. I think it's cool. Obviously, you want a 911, but I do respect, what Porsche wants to do with a car like the Boxster. I don't think that this car really exists all that much. I don't believe it's in the lineup anymore. In Porsche's current lineup as of 2023. But I do think that this car is pretty cool. Porsche is, in my opinion, one of the best engineering brands in the entire world. When it comes to Porsche, these guys know what the hell they're doing. I mean, you can't deny that when it comes to engineering. The German engineering is keynote. It's absolutely insane. And I have nothing but respect for German engineering, So getting into this, there's not too much to talk about. We're just taking some shortcuts. As you can see on the map, you'll see the regular road is just the drab gray color. And then for the racers, at least, the shortcuts will be this orange color to indicate that as well. In the bottom right, I'll point some things out. You'll see the speedo, and then you'll see the red bar on the side there. That indicates my health. If I go down to 0, I'm out of the race. And then when it comes to the left bar, you obviously see that is the nitrous bar. And as the lady said at the beginning, the way that you fill that up is by driving dangerously, drifting, near missing traffic, driving in oncoming lanes, stuff like that. Also hitting people with something else which we'll see in the relatively near future. So yeah, definitely looking forward to talking about that. You also get rewarded, as you can see here, based on how well you drove. Is it your personal best time? Are you in the top of the speedball? Now that is something we'll address here after we do the first mission of the cop career as well. But the way I'll be splitting up this Let's Play is I'll be doing essentially each episode will be about half cop events, half racer events, so we can keep both careers relatively within the same length. That they're going at the same time and they're making the same amount of progress each time. So. As you can see, because we got some high bounty, a lot of bounty, we do get a new car, the Mazda RX-8, which having actually just gotten from Japan and seeing a good chunk of these in the country, it's really nice to see the Mazda RX-8. I really do like this car, especially from Need for Speed Most Wanted. Izzy's RX-8 was absolutely awesome. Now we have the Dodge Charger SRT8, which is okay. It's an alright car. And as you can see, one thing I also want to point out is the series that it talks about. It says sports series, right? So as we talked about in the beginning, as we increase our bounty level, we will get access to faster cars and harder cops. And basically, when it comes to doing that, there are different classes of cars. So there's sports series, I believe there's performance series, super exotic, and hyper for the racer side of things. And so this is going to be replicated in the cop side. And since we're talking about the cop side, let's start off with the first cop event of the career. So let's get into it.
Welcome, Cadet. You have been accepted into the ranks of the SCPD, the world's fastest speed enforcement unit. You begin your career as a Rank 1 Cadet with limited access to the department. The pinnacle of the speed enforcement unit are the Rank 20 Ultimate Enforcers with access to any vehicle or pursuit resource required. Your career with the SCPD will be measured on your performance in the field. All of your actions are monitored and recorded in the system as bounty. The more bounty you are awarded during an active mission, the faster you will progress through the cop ranks. Basic busting procedure is to bring the suspect to a halt or force the vehicle to stop with excessive damage. As an interceptor, you are authorized to use any available force to bring the suspect in. The objective is to bust the suspect in the shortest amount of time, minimizing impact on the population of Seacrest County. All interceptor response cars are fitted with an SCPD nitrous system. Use this system to give your vehicle a short burst of acceleration, enabling you to close the gap or impact the suspect with more force. If the suspect gets too far away, there will be a limited time to re-engage before the assignment is over. Stay close and stay sharp. Today you will be driving the Ford Crown Victoria. As you prove your value to the department, Command will make more exotic equipment available to you. Good luck.
First produced by the Ford Motor Company in the 1950s and affectionately known as the Crown Vic, this car has become the iconic police and taxi car. Its body-on-frame construction makes it very rugged and easy to repair after minor accidents. The only full-frame rear-wheel drive passenger car built in North America. A 4.6-liter V8 drives its rear wheels, resulting in handling which lends itself well to police driving techniques, where the front of the police car is used to push the rear of the fleeing car. The police version of the Crown Victoria has a black front grille and rear fascia on the trunk lid. Black trim can also be found under the taillights. The next generation police Interceptor from Ford will be based on the Ford's latest unit body full-size chassis, with the seamless transition already underway.
Alright, and as we get into the cop career, there's nothing really majorly changed about the cop career, especially when it comes to, like, I showed you guys the paint, I showed you guys the ability to wrap cars. That doesn't exist here for the cop career. But one thing I will mention is that there is a strong difference between cop cars as well as racer cars. The thing is, with the racer cars, they're stock, so they're they're really fast, but they're not as fast as, well, the cop cars, which is really funny. And in addition to that, the nitro systems between the two, as alluded to in the cutscene about the cop career, they are very different. The thing is, with the cop one, is it's a real quick burst of speed. Like, you fill it up to the max, but you get like a couple seconds, like literally like a second worth of nitrous, but you go really fast because of that. With the racer, it's more gradual. You do press the A button, or whatever for the nitrous, whatever, using keyboard, mouse, controller, and you do go faster, but the nitrous is much more continuous. It's much more gradual. It's much more smooth in that sense. The police, it's a burst of speed, and the idea is, like, if you're messing around with the suspect, right, you slam into some walls, you get knocked around, you get stopped, you really want to get back into the action really quickly. So that's the idea there. So some cool stuff there, and without further ado, let's start off with the cop career and use the Crown Vic, which has been the premier and most iconic police car and taxi car, as they stated, in the US. So as we have this here, when it comes to the Interceptor events, so we did just have a general race event for the racer, which entails an event where it's just you guys race. There's no cops at all. This, with the Interceptor, what we end up doing is it's just one car that we have to actually bust here, and by getting a 1 minute or lower bust time, we get the highest amount of bounty possible. So.
Mazda heading south on 3 Points Road. Confirmed. Suspect is exceeding all posted limits. Requesting assistance. Interceptor assistance is command approved and en route to your location. Affirmative command. Interceptor unit is on scene and engaging pursuit. Standing down. Over to you.
Alright, so let's get into the stuff. So as you can see, that is their health bar, and every car has this. Even when you're a racer, the cops will have this health bar above them. And as you can see, the difference with the map is that the shortcut roads for them are blue, for the cops are blue instead of orange when it comes to the racers. So all you gotta do is slam into these guys. We don't have access to any other things yet, so just gotta slam into this guy. And obviously, being made by Criterion, you have the crash, so yeah, kind of crashed there, but we're good. This guy should be quick. As you can see, we took a hefty amount of damage there, but should be fine. This guy will be quick. I think one more hit, and we should be able to get this guy. Now, these events right here, they're pretty easy for the time being, but as we get into the harder events, that's when you'll start to see the difficulty increases. So don't be necessarily fooled by the ease of the first few events, both in the racer and in the cop. Alright, and with that, got some new rewards. So let's see what we got here. We have the Subaru Impreza WRX STI, a car that I actually considered getting for a daily driver at one point. So, alright guys, so one thing I want to point out before we end the first episode is if you go to any given event, whether that's for a cop or a racer, let's go to here real quick. So as you can see, it has the on the bottom right has the event name, the series that it's a part of, you know, a description of the event. What you'll notice here is on the bottom left, you notice this thing called the speed wall. Now, what is this? Well, this is a system that they introduced, and you can see it in the bottom left as well, called Autolog. Autolog is a very interesting system, and here's the cutscene that the game gives you to talk about it, and then I'll explain anything more extra after that I have to add about Autolog, because I actually think it's a really cool system.
Welcome to Autolog, the connected heart of Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. Autolog puts friends at the center of your game, allowing you to easily connect, compare, and compete with all your friends playing Need for Speed. Hot Pursuit Online is where you connect and compete with up to 7 other players, earning bounty towards your cop or racer careers. Head into Seacrest County to earn bounty and progress your career as either a cop or a racer in solo events. Autolog Recommends is an all-new innovation in social competition. Here, Autolog recommend events to you based on what your friends have been playing. To get started right away, head into the career.
So, when it comes to Autolog, let's talk about what Autolog does. So, going here to the career mode. The thing about Autolog, what's really interesting about this is, let's go to any given event right now. So let's go to the first event that we did, Roadsters Reborn. So as you can see, I said many attempts on this event, and that was my best time that I had in the specific cars you can see that just appeared. So what's really cool is if I hit the right bumper, you can see friends. So if you have a ton of friends who played this game, or you have a good amount of friends who played this game, it will also display their times with their cars, the attempts that they've made on the speed wall. And so what's really cool is, say that, you know, you're playing online, you know, you're doing an event in single player, right? And all of a sudden your friend beats your time. What's really cool is that Autolog will tell you, hey, your friend beat you with this time on this event. Do you want to go and race that event to try and beat the time? So what's really cool is it sort of encourages you to learn to play better. It encourages you to compete with your friends and stuff like that. Now, there is a robust multiplayer system to this game that, from what I've seen, is a lot of fun. I personally never played it when I was a kid. I just enjoyed the single player. But from what I've seen, it is an incredibly fun multiplayer system. And so, like they were saying in the cutscene, Autolog Recommends is the same thing, where they will recommend events to you based on the idea of, like, you know, they beat you in this event with this time. Do you want to go and try that event? So a really cool system that encourages competition amongst friends, encourages you to learn how to play the game and drive better and stuff like that. It's a really cool system. And so with that, I think we are good to end the first episode. Now, I know that this was a pretty short beginning, but I'd like to get into the episodes where we get, you know, pretty event heavy and stuff like that, because that's where I think the juice and the fun of this game really hammers it home. But I wanted to give a quick first episode so that you guys get a feel for how this Let's Play is going to be laid out. Now, one thing I'd also like to mention as a last part of this episode is, as I mentioned in the beginning, I am going to be putting the cutscenes of the woman talking about, you know, the lady talking about the cars, and the descriptions of them, because I think it's a really cool thing that they even added that. Very similar to, you know, how Forza does it and stuff like that. But I won't be really putting them in the middle of the video, because I think that sort of derails the video. So if you do want to listen to them, I will chuck them at the end of the video before my outro, because I feel that, you know, I don't want it to sort of disrupt the flow of the Let's Play, and so I will still be recording them when I'm actually recording. If you want to see them, they will be right after I'm done talking, and then I will be doing this for every car that we acquire as we get along. So without further ado, thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please comment, like, rate, subscribe, share this video with your friends. Also follow me on the socials linked in the description below. And without further ado, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes.